I everyone because we have our preferences of functioning, of perceiving the world. We can falsely interpret what someone say or do. We could call them cognitive biases related specifically to our cognitive function. NI wanting deep understanding can be confused with FE wanting harmony. NI reading people's soul, analyzing their behavior can be confused with FE social cues and the mood emotional state. Intuition detecting absorbing energies can be confused with FE taking other emotion as if it was their own. NI having the best behavior not deviating from their essence can be confused with FE and social behavior or with SI societal norms or tradition. An NI or NE goal project ID can be confused with TE or TI thing to do. NE testing and trying can be confused with TE doing or SE experiencing. NI can be confused with TI both wanting clarity, precision, certainty, making connection. NI detecting inconsistencies and problems, TI detecting logical errors. The NI connection can be in part logical, TI, or making logical sense, TE. NI waiting and recharging from sensory can be confused with FI resting, taking break from TE work and doing. Our NI mental state can be confused with our FI well-being feeling state or even with our functional state T functioning or with our physical state S sensing. And it is normal because they all function together, all function influencing, impacting each other. Reflection, intuition can be confused with thinking when certain intuition could be confused with feeling and when certain intuition could be confused with thinking. Sharing our perception, intuition can be mistaken from a judgment, feeling, or thinking. NE, entertaining, can be confused with FE, playing with other or social situation. NE, trying and testing to see what happens next, can be confused with SE, experiencing now. An NE possibility can be an SE, physical sensorial experience or something material. A list of many things or tasks to do, TE, can be confused with a procedure or schedule, SI. Explaining thing, TE, or correcting thing, TI, can be perceived as rude or angry by FE, whereas it is neutral, no feeling or emotion, and so not negative. A neutral information, thinking, T, is often judged as negative for the feeling F. Explaining, TE, can be falsely perceived by feeler as FE complaining. Collaborating, TE, can be confused with getting along together, FE. Doing things for others in their place, TE, can be confused with FE, who do what others like, want them to do. Or a thing function inside, TI, can be confused with NI, what lies behind. The practicality, utility of a thing, TE, can be confused with NI purpose, goal, objective. Or a thing is composed or built inside can be confused with SI inside the material physical structure. Wanting to solve thing or correct thing, T, or solve misunderstanding, M, can be confused with wanting harmony, FE. SI can be confused with FE because what is social for the majority became rules, norm, or tradition. NI can be confused with FE because NI cares is concerned, have empathy for the whole world, for humanity, for all soul, and FE focused on other. FI can be confused with TI with their sense of justice, equity, fairness. A material physical object, SE, can be confused with thing, T. A physical body, S, can be confused with a living being, F. The 16 types can confuse their first two functions together. Sometimes the antitype can confuse their perception, reflection, ideas, connection, N, with their reasoning or thought, T. The NF type can confuse their intuition with their feeling, F. The ST type can confuse the detail, S, with their thought, T. The SF type can confuse their sensation, S, and their feeling, F. Every type, every function can be confused by their opposite. Intuitive, we often may be confused when we don't have all the detailed information to connect the dots to understand and be sure at 200%, or confused that people are not honest, lied, hide things, have inappropriate or disrespectful behavior, because certain things could be simplified and not being so complex and not take so much time and energy. Sensors are confused because they can see through the intuitive, they can get them, have hard time to see what is hidden and to connect the information to understand. They have hard time to understand the intuitive and abstract information, ideas. Feelers are confused when we don't consider them, don't pay attention to them, when we ignore the feeling, emotional, value aspects. Thinkers are confused when others lack of logic, practicality, ignore facts, and are overly emotional. We may think others do too much the function we have low in our stack, whereas they surely often do the right amount for their functioning. It is just an impression we have because it is not the same functioning as ours. Humans can confuse their feeling with their thought or sensation or intuition. They can confuse their intuition with feeling or thinking or sensing. Feeling, emotion can override the intuition and thinking. They bias our perception. This is important to choose the right word when we speak or write. Feeling, thinking, sensing, and intuition are really different. It is important to discern them, differentiate them. Don't say I feel if after you say what you think, a fact, or explain something. Don't say I think if after you express your feeling, sadness, happiness, anger, discontent, frustration, or complaint. Don't say I see instead to say I understand. Don't say I understand if you don't really or fully understand, if you haven't connected the dots. It is important to make differentiation between all the functions for their interaction and our self-development, individuation. We all are confused because we don't have all the information, we don't know everything. Every day we tend to miss a part of the information of our function 4. We are confused with our function 3 that is sometimes blurry, uncertain, and totally confused, immobilized sometimes with our function 7, the trickster, that we may don't understand, and also confused with our function 8 that is not for us opposite of our dominant function. We are confused because we are limited by our mind, brain, physical body, limited by our human perception and condition. At least let's be confused together. I hope this video didn't confuse you too much. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. We are confused because we are limited by our hour. We are limited by our hour. This is right too. We are limited by the time, by the hours.